So, I liked some of the comments you guys wrote about Ares throwing the rock at Kratos. But also, I think some of the people falling can actually be on fire. Just don't quote me on that, I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, I said before I was going to go on a rant on Kratos' backstory because of how crazy it's become at this point. Because the backstory established in this game and also little things revealed in the sequels to this, they're okay in my opinion. I don't really have a problem. But then the prequels came, and I started, and at this point, I'm actually starting to notice things. And I know that longtime fans have noticed some things. Now, I will say this: the prequel games, I think, tried to do a little more of a story, but in some cases, they didn't really do so well because of one, plot holes, but also because of generally not being that well made in comparison to those console games. I mean, it's kind of hard to compare the PSP games to full-on console games made by the original developers, which is not really the case with Ascension, in my opinion, because that was actually made by Santa Monica, so they have no excuse for how bad it was. Anyway, in this day and age, I believe, especially with the rise and success of the Christopher Nolan Batman films, people have tried to write characters in media as more human. Again, this is probably in light of the success of the Nolan Batman films, which are pretty damn good films in my opinion. I love them, I still do. I do actually want to still watch a Dark Knight a few more times. I wish they aired it on TV instead of Dark Knight Rises and Batman Begins. I don't know why that is, maybe that's stupid for people who's deaf, but whatever. I actually may go on a little rant about some issues with the Nolan films and also issues I have with people toward the Nolan films. That's probably going to be when I tackle Batman Arkham City, which I'm not sure when I'm going to do it, but I do want to do it sometime before Arkham Knight. I also am going to probably do a thoughts video on that, being a huge Batman fan and also liking the Arkham games. But anyway, some examples of this are basically Man of Steel, which show a more human and also darker Superman, and also the Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man, I think, is a decent reboot. It definitely does stick out a little from the Raimi films, but it does share a lot of similarities, especially compared to the Man of Steel compared to the Christopher Reeve Superman films. Now I feel that maybe they're just trying a little too hard sometimes to appeal to a different audience, but I feel, in my opinion, a good case of a character showing a human light that actually does matter and works was the Wolverine film from last year, which was simply called The Wolverine. It worked because it actually tied into the story. Like, it wasn't just the main theme, it was actually a plot development. Like, for one thing, Wolverine was actually stripped of his immortality and made physically vulnerable, and he was still in the struggle with this. This tied into the story a few ways by showing how he struggled with the past events of, I think, X-Men 3: The Last Stand. And I was fine with that, actually. I thought that was really well done. However, when it comes to some games like God of War, I feel that maybe the developers are trying too hard and they're shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, we all know Kratos' backstory at this point, but the things in the prequel games, that's going way too far, in my opinion. Like, for one thing, they're trying to show how human Kratos is. We already got that point, that vibe from this game. It's like, yes, he's a jerk. He doesn't really care. And we kind of can't blame him. But he still regrets what he's done. But then, how do I explain it? In the prequel games, one problem I have is, I'm going to say what the issue was. Ascension, I think maybe they're trying to, I'm not sure how to really explain it, but I can also say one problem, get off. One problem is how overpowered Kratos actually kind of is in the prequel games. Like, he still has a lot of the ability, like, oh god. he's basically killed a lot of Greek icons. Like, he killed Hades' wife in Chains of Olympus, and he's the reason... I blocked that. Why did I get hit? He's the reason that Persephone is dead, and this is brought up in God of War 3, so it is actually canon. But he's actually the reason Atlas has to hold the world on his shoulders. Which I think is kind of absurd, because Chains of Olympus happens before this game, so it's not really a strong Kratos. So when trying to show a more human Kratos, they're actually showing how unhuman he is, like with how incredibly strong he is. Like, come on. This is before this game, and Kratos is still able to do that much, that he was able to shape the world in a way. But that was kind of okay, because the ending kind of got to me a little, and other stuff. Then Ghost of Sparta came, and I started noticing problems with more gods that Kratos killed, and also the things with his family, which I'm semi-okay with, but some aspects I still don't like. Then Ascension came, and boy, that's where I really started to notice some problems. Kratos kills 3 deities, the Furies. It gets pretty absurd. I'm not dealing with these, I'm not dealing with these, I'm not dealing with these, I'm not dealing with these. Fuck you, it's not worth it. Okay, anyway. Yeah, honestly, Kratos killed 3 icons, and it wasn't even just that, he also killed the Oath Keeper, Orcos. I am not dealing with you, you are a pain in my ass. Okay, I would talk, but fuck those things. I'm not dealing with those things, I'm not dealing with those things. Okay, now that that abomination is dealt with, I think there are some archers over there. I think, yeah, there are, so you probably should use your Army of Hades. Just not the way I did, that almost gets you killed. Anyway, whew. It's just, they're trying to show how human Kratos is, yet what's human about a guy who's ridiculously powerful? And yet, you know, still kills everyone in his path. Because honestly, one of the things in Ghost of Sparta was that Kratos killed the final boss out of sheer rage. That's where his power came from, his rage. And these Minotaurs, you can, I think, still kill in this normal way. But anyway, yeah. They're just trying way too hard, I think, with Kratos at this point, and maybe it's also trying to generate sales and shit, and also trying to make some money off this, but I don't really like what they've been doing. I'm hoping that with God of War 4 we are finally done with the prequels and we finally get a continuation of 3 and so on. Honestly, I just think they're trying way too hard with trying to make Kratos human and sympathetic. Like, as I've said, I already sympathize with Kratos alone from this game, so it's kind of redundant. It's really kind of redundant that they want to sympathize more with Kratos. Especially when Kratos would not want you to probably do that. And I feel maybe in some ways that may actually be affecting the games themselves. Like, Ascension, they changed up the rage system. I've gone over that and I still don't like it. And I feel that if they didn't try to show off the more human Kratos, that game probably would have been something decent. It probably would have still been meh, like not that good. But it honestly at least would have maybe been acceptable. Honestly, I'm just not sure what they can really do. I mean, I think maybe after God of War 3's ending, maybe they're kind of running out of options of what to do with this series, because again, I can't spoil the ending of God of War 3, not until we really get to that point in the series. But I feel that Santa Monica does need to get the stuff together. I mean, again, I've heard that they didn't want to make Ascension, but I do still feel that the story approach of trying to show how human Kratos is, it's not really working. Frankly, it's taking a hit on the gameplay. Like, the rage system, it just didn't feel... When I used the rage system in this game, or God of War 2, or 3, or even the similar system God of War Ghost of Sparta has, I feel powerful. I feel like I'm ready to kill just about anything Kratos' path. And I'm pretty sure that's maybe the point of it. And Ascension, I don't feel any of that. Kratos doesn't really get that mad in the game, which I'll admit is actually not a bad idea. Like, not showing just a human side of Kratos, but generally a not so mad side is fine, because I do know one of the developers of Prince of Persia has noted that Kratos is a well-written character, but he's black and white because almost everything he says and does is rage. And I can kind of see why people would criticize that. And I know that actually has risen lately in some views in the series. Before Ascension, might add. It's weird, I just don't know. This has not been the best rant. Whenever I've been busy doing my family and stuff, which I'm going to probably go over in a video on why that's actually been quite a problem I've had. Oh god. These things, their hitbox is kind of weird. They can like, I feel that they sometimes, it's kind of disjointed on how they hit you. Like, it almost seems like they shouldn't hit you at times. Anyway, yeah, I just hope with God before we finally get a full continuation, that we don't get more of that Kratos as a human bullshit, because we already get that. I've already gotten that notion. You guys have probably gotten that too. Or maybe really just let the series die. I mean, if the developers don't want to make a game, they shouldn't make it. I believe that if you also do these climbing segments without taking damage, you do get a trophy called Get Me a Beer Kid. It's probably not too hard to do, really, with that save point fairly close. I'm surprised I'm actually doing it, because this is far more annoying than it looks. The other thing I have to say about the prequel games is they're trying to get you to feel for Kratos. I felt for Kratos at the end of Shape of Stones. I felt for Kratos at the end of Ghost of Sparta, even though I still felt something was odd. Ascension didn't get me to feel anything. A few times it did, but not quite to the extent that the ads were making it seem. And I just feel that's where I really did realize this series was basically dead. I mean, again, I still get what they were trying to go for, but for a prequel game, it still could have been better. I mean, if I made Link to an excellent prequel game, in my opinion, Devil May Cry 3 is such a game. It was good in that not only was it an excellent game overall, but from a storyline perspective, I felt what they were trying to do. Like, I feel that whatever the developers were trying to do, that Capcom and so on was trying to do, they succeeded. Like, I felt for Dante immensely. I realized at that point, wow, there's a lot of depth to this guy. And then from a gameplay standpoint, the gameplay did not suffer at all. Like, the only thing is you don't have your devil trigger at the beginning, which I can live. It didn't really affect that much because, you know, the game didn't really affect me that much, but hold on. You know, it's not too far where you get the devil trigger, and then the devil trigger is actually not too different from what it was like in Devil May Cry 1. It was thankfully different from Devil May Cry 2, which is still an awful game in my opinion. Oh, and also, I'm a fool for not mentioning this before. My general strategy here is, honestly, there's nothing else I can really say except just use your Army of Hades on satyrs. Don't use your Athena's Blessing once again, because you need that for Ares. In my first playthrough on normal hard, I gave that to Tetsu because I didn't realize that I basically needed it for Ares. I feel there's probably really nothing else you can probably do for that fight. Get out! I've got a lot of orbs. I think I maxed out all my stuff. Might as well do that! I think the Blade of Armor also changes colors. And also, I don't really have much else to say on the God of War series, like Kratos' general backstory and stuff. It's gotten out of hand. The developers definitely need to take a better look at things. And honestly, again, I just don't know what they can really do in this series at this point. They did shoot themselves in the foot with God of War 3, and then they've shot themselves in the foot a few more times, because if Kratos really is so human and so weak and vulnerable, how is he able to do all of that killing in Chains of Olympus and Ascension, where he's arguably at his weakest overall? Either way, I honestly do feel this should take some cues from some other people like Devil May Cry 3. Which I'm not going to spoil as well. But I will say this, I'm not actually sure about if I'll ever LP Devil May Cry. I kind of want to look into that. I'm trying to, you know, master the series at least. But oh well. I did get my hands on Devil May Cry 4, which has been pretty good. I actually got Sonic Colors the other day. Great game so far. I haven't actually played a Sonic game in some time. It's making me remember why I got into this series and why I love the Blue Hedgehog so much. It's that good. I need to get Generations at some point, and I'm not sure what other games. I'm staying away from Unleashed though. That's convenient. Either way, that's my rant on Kratos' backstory. I'm sorry it wasn't that good. I honestly do want to do a little bit more on that, like actual full-length videos on some rants on game stuff. I was my thoughts on some upcoming ones, but that's for another time. Seriously, what's this all about? I'll be damned. And I can go back there anytime I please.
Ah, Kratos. And not a moment too soon. I only finished digging just a moment ago.
Who are you?
Now that is an interesting question. But for now, you must hurry. Athens needs you.
But how did you know I would?
Athena isn't the only god keeping watch on you, Spartan. Complete your task, Kratos, and the gods will forgive your sins.
So that's what the Gravekeeper meant. Okay. Anyway, I guess now's a good time as ever to actually go over who the Gravekeeper really is. Press and save.